because there are a lot of people who would not be here today and they need to know what's gone on in the parish in the last year.
You got to shout.
You,
Standard words.
I said we have to shout out.
I know my voice doesn't carry, even when I'm angry at somebody. In fact, that's the real sign that I'm mad is when I get deathly quiet. Then you need to worry. We've been in a pandemic all year, but it has not stopped this little church. That's why Caroline Traylor says we're meant to be on this corner. We've been here all these years, through thick and thin, and we remain here. We've done lots of good things this year. We started early. We had a late annual parish meeting last year, and Lent came early, so our first vestry meeting was actually online by Zoom, because we had to decide what we were going to do during Lent, if we were going to have a Lenten program, and we decided to try it, and then of course things fell apart. Father Hunt came up here, thank goodness, on Wednesday, and with Donovan and Ken and all the limbs. We recorded it on Wednesday and played it on Sunday, so we got through that way. And then thanks to Camille, I learned about Kyle Mackey's presence. He had been here since June before last now. I didn't have any idea. So I texted his mother, Penny, and she said, I don't know, he might be interested. I'll have him call you. And I was driving down the road, and when I saw the 706 area code, I pulled off to the side of the road, and it was Kyle, and he said, yes, he would be interested. So this was in March, and I said, well, we've got somebody for Palm Sunday and Easter, but if you want to assist, you know, you'll get to see faces in the congregation, they'll get to see yours, and then you'll be on your own. And he was on his own after that, and came full of new ideas and enthusiasm. And I don't know that I've heard a better preacher. I just think that is one of his greatest gifts, is his preaching ability. And then part of the deal was that he had to continue to look for a full-time position, and he found one. In fact, I had gotten an email in August from the senior warden at St. Stephen's in Newport News, who asked if I recognized any weaknesses or failings, and I said nothing that age and experience wouldn't cure. And this was a good place, I think, for him to start out, because like Marcy says, we're very forgiving, and we're a small congregation. If he screws up, we don't care, because we've all screwed up. We just pick up and go on. So I hope it helped him, and he certainly helped us. As you know, we voted to provide health insurance, even though we were not required to, because he was fewer than 30 hours. But I suspected from the very beginning that there would be a baby at some point, and I could not leave him hanging out there with no insurance. And he was glad to have it when Sean was born. And it also covered all of her visits before his birth. Ken is at Swanee this weekend. He's going through the process. I was up here the other day, and he was doing some online exams, and I didn't notice anybody upstairs. I came up to do the mail, and I called out, hello, anybody? No sound. And then after a while, he stuck his head around the door, and I said, well, I didn't hear you. And he said, no, I was outside trying to get myself together. He said, there's a question here I have no answer to. So he was struggling with that, but he is at Swanee this weekend, and hopes to be, I think, ordained sometime in the spring. We had a vestry elected last year, and during the year lost 2 of them. Rick's resigned for health reasons, and we asked Alex if he would give the vestry one more chance as junior warden, and he graciously agreed to do that and filled out the year, for which we thank you very much, Alex. And he's always down here doing something. You'll see his truck out there with a trailer on the back, or see him in the parish hall. He's like Rusty. You can't ever tell when he's going to appear and fix something. And he does that out of love for the parish, and we do appreciate it. And Lauren moved out of Dublin early on, and in August resigned from the vestry. She has a job and new relationships, and she just did not have time to give to the vestry, and she appreciated the opportunity to do that. She was the only one we had in the congregation who was under 35 years old. So we wanted her on the vestry and missed her when she had to leave, but Camille graciously agreed to fill her unexpired term. So we welcome Camille and glad she's on the vestry. I think we've had a good vestry this year. We've gotten lots of things done. I'm not going to go into the senior warden report. That's there. They'll give their own report, and as soon as I shut up. We did have a confirmation this year. Ellen Marie was confirmed in Vidalia, and she had a little showing from Dublin. I was glad so many people came, and she and Joshua both got prayer book hymnal combinations, which is what we give those who've been confirmed, and we hope to have some confirmations this year. The bishop will be here, I think it's the 13th of February, so we're hoping to have at least 2 confirmations when he comes. And we all remember Mother's Day. It was such a good time. And Glenda was so generous to provide everything from our mimosa station, all the flowers, and arranging to have the table set up so we could put pictures of our mothers when they were our ages out for everybody to try to match. And several of us stayed around. As long as there was Prosecco, we were not leaving. There may have been some orange juice left, but there was definitely no Prosecco left. And I hope that's an annual event. And Glenda won't have to, she generously donated all of this stuff. She bought it, and as she does so often, underwrites many of our activities here that you all don't even know about. She just does it without expecting any kind of recognition. She does it out of love for the church, and she's got such a gift for that, and it's a rare gift, and we appreciate that. The search committee started again this year. They were dormant last year. I think they tried to get something going and had some obstacles, but they started again this year. Lauren Lash, the canon to the ordinary, met with them in person at the first meeting and gave them some ideas. They had a listening session in August back in the parish hall, and we described what we wanted in a priest, and of course, as always, we named everything that could be done but it would take 40 hours to do it. So when the vestry had a retreat in October, we decided what a 20-hour priest would do. You know, we had 5 blocks of 4 hours each. And we determined that sermon writing, sermon preparation, and delivery took 2 of those units. One would have been, another one would have been for outreach in the community, visiting people in the community, going to the Chamber of Commerce or joining Rotary, just being seen in the community, which is the only way that people are going to find out who we are. Another was like Christian formation or study club, this kind of thing, because a lot of us wanted Bible study. And then there's the ever-present administrative function. And he spent a lot of time on website design. He and Rhonda and Ken and Kenny Powell from Trinity Communications all worked together to rewire, and we purchased the new camera with memorial funds. And everybody, Rick said he saw it last week and he could hear everything and see everything. And Ken is so happy not to have to set up his little things up here in the front. And what I like about the camera is the angles. At the back, it shows the entire congregation, which I think is important for people to see. I want them to see that we have young and old, all ages, all races. We don't care how you dress. You can dress up or you can come in flip-flops and your jeans. Dwayne said one time, he said he told Jimmy, Malcolm Johnson, he said, here you are in your blue jeans and a short sleeve shirt, and he had on like three layers of clothes, and you know, a dress jacket. But that's the good thing about this church. We don't care. We just want you to come. We don't care how you come. And one of my little favorite things is we need to remember that our founder wore sandals. So those who show up in sandals are more than welcome to do so too. We have our own website now, and it's the one in the diocese has been taken. I think it's still up, but it's not the one. It's not our official website. That's in the notes here. It's ChristEpiscopalDublin.org, and you can find everything you need to know on that website, including an instructed Eucharist, which is helpful for those who are not sure about what we do. We had some visitors today, and I hope they will be back. They said it's different from the Baptist church, and I reminded them, I think there are only 5 people in this congregation who are cradle Episcopalians. The rest of us were something else. But that's what the Episcopal Church is. It's just a home for everybody. During the year, were approached by a 12-step group, and they asked if they could use our parish hall. And we used to do that years ago. We had NA meeting here, and Al-Anon meeting here, and AA meeting here. And as far as I can tell, I never can tell when they've been here. They clean up after themselves. They do make a small part of their commitment is that they make a monetary donation, and they do. And they feel at peace here. They can see outside. They have their privacy, and they don't feel rushed to get out. Nobody smokes. I told them no smoking in the building. There's an ashtray outside, and they have honored that, because I'm a non-smoker and I can tell if somebody's been smoking. So they have honored our rules. The DAR also asked if they could meet in the Nave in October for their World Day of Prayer. And they wanted to hear about the history of the church. I showed them the album, the picture album that Linda Lane and Karen Wozniak created years ago. The thing that struck them the most was the rood screen. Not many of us remember when the rood, I guess the Yates and the Trailers remember the rood screen. The holes are still here for it if we ever decide we want it back. But they were just amazed at that, and they said, you know, that fits this church. I think it was taken down when Father Cody was here back in the 70s. But it may reappear one of these days, you never know. Bill and Sue Peterson were always more than generous to us. Sue bought the ice machine, that commercial refrigerator that we had. She bought the Stations of the Cross, and they left us all this stock, which started out at the beginning, I think it was about $85,000, the value of it. It is now $344,000. The canons, the diocesan canons, require us to deposit with the board of the corporation and the diocese any monies in excess of 1 year's operating expenses. Well, we had significantly more than that, but we also significantly outperformed the board of the corporation. So we requested a waiver, which you can do, and our justification was that we have outperformed them, that we have not drawn any money out of that stock, it's just redeposited. The vestry's a little concerned that it's all in stocks and it's not diversified. So we voted to, and Joel Coble has agreed, he's big into this. He was on the Honey Creek Commission, and that was part of his job when he was with Honey Creek, was the looking after the investments. And he agreed to be part of this investment committee and establish a fidelity account and take money, sell some of the stock and reinvest it in a index fund, which gives us some protection. This boom can't last forever, and we don't want to end up back with $85,000 when we have great plans for our future. We had an audit this year. Marcy and Catherine and I worked on that, and the thing that struck us was that apparently in some churches it's like when you say you're going to pledge X amount of dollars, they don't account for change in circumstances, and things happen in people's lives where you cannot meet your pledge, and we understand that. And it's in our bylaws. If something happens, all you have to do is tell the pledge secretary, nothing will be said about it. They could not get over the fact that we don't do that. We remind people toward the end of the year, this is where you are in your pledge, but we don't badger them to get it in. And I think you will see the results of that when Marcy gives her presentation. The men's group has taken on some projects this year. The women started stripping the wallpaper in the parish hall and exposed lots of things we needed to see, mold, and the men took it on themselves, and a group of them put kills on the wall, and it looks good. One of the projects I think the next year is to finish that project, but we're so thankful to them for doing what they've done, because when the DAR came, they had a little reception back there, and it was looks like it does now. You don't see the mold on the wall, and you don't see the torn wallpaper, which we used to tape shut when we would have an event here so that people wouldn't see it peeling. Our food pantry continues. People have been very generous with donations to the food pantry. The men's group had the spaghetti dinner and donated all the proceeds to $1,600 to the food pantry. Lindsay Black headed a group at Fairview Park. They donated 1,000 units of food. And we are getting ready to go tomorrow to the food bank, and we will have our food pantry on Tuesday. Joe and Mary Schrock, you know, when you hate not to mention people's names because you want them to be recognized for the job they do. But in doing so, sometimes you inadvertently omit a name. And Joe and Mary have been very helpful with the food pantry. Joe comes on Monday and helps us unload, along with the others that are listed. And Mary comes on Tuesday and does what Nancy Colston used to do, and that's she and Herschel take down names of new applicants for our program. So everybody works together. And I asked them if they would, people don't know apparently about our food pantry. When the Lawrence Baptist has such a huge organization. And I asked if they would have some signs made, and they went straight away to the sign store, and we just had them in days. And we put those signs out now, and people now know who we are and what time it is, and I think it's helped improve our attendance. We did have some fun things also this year, even though we had to go outside after we were concerned about the virus. And I was a little concerned today. I said the reason I didn't ask anybody to read this morning was because I wasn't sure how many we would have here, and I felt some people would not want to read because of the virus, and I completely understand that. And this is kind of a test. If something happens today and somebody's exposed, we'll have to reconsider going back to virtual services. We hope not to do that. We hope we can leave enough doors open that we'll have enough ventilation, and with our masks, protect each other. And I think most of us are vaccinated and boosted. We have the blessing of the animals again for the first time. And my favorite was Dr. Ed Fitzgerald from the VA bringing his chickens to be blessed. He had some bantams that were blessed, and we had 38 people, including Peggy Hobby, one of the vets, brought her own dog. So that was, she read about it on our website. So we're hoping this next year to have more churches involved, and since we are at Stubbs Park, we're more likely to have participation by the community rather than having it just in our garden, which makes it seem like it's just for us. Let's see. We had our Jingle and Mingle again this year. The directions seem to be more toward downtown, so I don't think we had quite the traffic we did last year, but we were on the list. People got their tickets punched. People enjoyed decorating the cookies. We enjoyed eating the leftover ones. And we had some people who did come inside and look at the church. They just wanted to see what it looked like, and joined the caroling session. You all were very generous again in supporting the Christmas families. Steve contacted the Senior Citizens Center in East Dublin and gave the names of 2 people who received Meals on Wheels that they knew were in need. And one lady in particular, I think I sent an email about this, she had the sweetest smile on her face, even though she was in a wheelchair. She's got bad diabetes, her leg was bandaged, and she lives with her mentally challenged son, but she saw the blessing in that. She said, "He is what keeps me out of the nursing home." So he is there with her if she needs help, and they deliver her meals to her, but those families could use the money. One lives a distance outside of Dublin, and she wasn't planning on having anything for Christmas except a visit from her sister. So we hope that this money allowed them to experience the true Christmas gift, which is love. And Christmas Eve, thank goodness we had this in person this year. It was beautiful. People greened the church. We had to do it a day later than normal because of our celebration at the Page House. But groups showed up, and it was done in no time, and then we celebrated with pizza. And then the same group returned to, I don't know if you call it ungreening or degreening the church, but Dwayne was brave enough to get up there and hang the garlands and put the bows, so that was his job to take them down too, and luckily we had no injuries. We're going to have another good year. We've seen new faces. Our search process is in not full swing, because I would like to see it posted on the Episcopal News Service where it goes nationwide. I don't expect us to find a priest available in this diocese. They know we're looking for a priest. If they wanted to come here, they would have already come, the way I look at it. So we're going to extend our announcement, and somebody may be looking for a place just like this, like Father Hunt did. He was in New Jersey when he retired, had planned to go to Florida to stay with her mother till he died, spent one night in Savannah on the way down there, never left. He said, I found the place I needed to be, so he stayed in Savannah. The same thing might happen to us. We've just had miracle on miracle this year, and I expect them in 2022. Does anybody have any questions or want to make any comments? Is there something I omitted that you want to hear more about? I can't thank enough the people who just do something week after week and nobody thinks anything about it. That's the Altar Guild. You know, it doesn't happen by itself. You have to come in, you have to order flowers, you have to order wine, have to make sure we have oil, wafers. It just gets done, but it's just one of those things that happens. The limbs are the same way. Somebody stands up here on Sunday and assists the priest. It just gets done. But thanks to all those people and the ushers, that's an important job. But it's not one of the things that gets a lot of attention. Like Rusty, I told him one day last year, he and John went to the lake and Rusty wasn't here, and none of the trash was taken out. So we just depend on Rusty to do those kinds of things. He is always around looking after the church, and we appreciate all he does to us. And Joe Schrock was a good Samaritan this morning. When we came, there was a car out here stalled, turning from Academy onto church, flashers on. And I could see Mary over there talking to the woman who was driving the vehicle. She'd run out of gas. So Joe, on his first Sunday to be an usher, took off and bought some gas and put it in her car and sent her on her way. That's what this church does. We just do it. If we see a need, we try to address it. And we thank everybody. Alex, you and Pam want to give a junior warden report? You may not need a microphone, but then again, since you have something of an accent, it might be helpful.
I know that sometimes the accident is tricky. Hello, everybody. First, I would like to express my appreciation for the building grounds. You hear me now? appreciation for the building grounds committee members for their help and commitment during the past year. And I think over here I have to express myself for Pam. Thank you. You was my side. And all phone calls, set up the meetings for the contractors. I appreciate it. Maybe you're good with a lot of other stuff, but I'm not a really good organizer, so I appreciate it. Thank you, ma'am. We have able to complete several needed projects in our facilities, and several projects. The first was repair the hearing and our unit start contract with the local HVAC Dublin hearing company, ensure regular maintenance of these units. So basically, we have contract with this company, Dublin hearing. They coming out 2 times in a year. They coming spring, maybe in May, and after November. They inspecting the whole unit starting with the compressors outside, radiators, backwash, cleanup, and so forth, and any kind of maintenance if you have to be done. And also we have kind of discount in case we need any parts. I really appreciate it with this company because we have lots of help from this, not just this year, last year also. Because I don't know how many people know that, what kind of problem we're facing with the gas line. They was over here almost 6 days and looking for the gas leak all over in the building, in the crash space, all over in the stop, and they can't find it. And why was that? Because we have a small leak, but how is the rules? A gas company put 15 pressure in a pipe and everything start leaking. So they have to go step by step all over. And when they have to move that big stove in the kitchen, because with the backside the valve is leaked, I don't know how it did it because that stove is almost 1 ton. It's really heavy, you know what I'm saying? But they did it, and they fixed all over. So I was really appreciated this company. But that's why, we asked them this year, service contract, any kind of problems. They're going to come tomorrow, 8 o'clock I have to come over here because they're going to be inspecting the filters and replace it. We have another big problem, the electric outlets, the food pantry, the freezer, eliminating extension cords, what basically we have. And we have a big, big job, replace the outside electrical panel, but basically go back in the 70s. And also, we have other kind of small job, but I think maybe in the future, this year, maybe we take care of mostly everything. That's, I think, we still have to do, the garbage disposal replaced, and also, we have to put the switch for the garbage disposal a little bit closer because now you climb in a closet, but basically nobody can do that, to plug in the disposal, but that's coming in these couple months. We service the fire extinguishers. We have all new fire extinguishers, all over in the building. And that's, they put it last year. I called this year. They come out, they check it, everything, make sure that everything is okay. Now, regarding with the install the smoke detectors and the smoke alarms and perishable the kitchen. So now everybody knows what basically we have, all exit lights. We have a pretty sophisticated security alarm system in the building. But unfortunately, we have a problem. One part is missing. If you look up in the bin, you see the red wire over there. We're waiting. That's the major system what basically cover the whole roof. It's any kind of smoke, any kind of, that's basically is the main. Well, unfortunately, we're still waiting for the parts. It's stuck in the sea, who knows, maybe in California or someplace. We replaced the pump, the ice maker. Now, the ice maker machine, we thought we need a new machine. We take the part, we clean it, sanitize, we build it back. But the pump, the maintenance pump with the ice water, he tricked me. I never saw something like that. I'm serious. And I am back long time working with this stuff. They leaked all over the place. I was away 3 times with my vacuum pump, clean up the water. Next day coming back, water all over the place. And I checked it, the pump is always work. He take the water. Guess what? No. He didn't work constantly. That's why he flooded, the kitchen area and all over. But anyways, we find it, we replace it, everything is perfect. We have, how Karen, she mentioned it, with the papers, take it off the parish hall. The first thing was we're going to be sheetrock. That was my idea, with Korean sheetrock. We're going to cover, the whole wall and paint it, and it's looking good and everything. But we find a contractor and give, the money, I'm saying, how much it costs? $8,000 something almost, I say, holy moly, no way, forget it. So we cancel that, and we pull the paper off, and with the boys, we back away 2 days. I put the prime kilts on, all over in the wall, and it looks like, the wall looks like great. And I cut out, behind the coffee machine, I find the leak. I have to build it back again, and because we have to take care of now this side of the wall in coming this month. But also, I think we have a little moisture problem. It's coming from the roof because we don't have a gutters. And we have to, we're using a special seal, spray over the outside, the bricks, because you don't know where is. Sometimes when it's heavy rain, if rain go over the wall, and maybe it's going to be some moisture coming in. So I suggested maybe both sides in the parish hall to install gutter. To the heavy water, the big roofs, it's I don't know how many square feet water coming down and spraying all over in the bottom, the bottom of the foundation.